We want to carry this positive energy forward, and I'm very pleased to be joined by someone who has played a big role in making tonight possible. Yes, I am way taller than Abby. That's because she's average height, and I am not. This is our gala co-chair and chief operating officer at Acuitas Therapeutics. Please welcome Abby Coleman-Walker. Great to be with you, Abby, and nice to have you with me for this segment.
It's an absolute pleasure, Chris. Thank you so much. Should we take our seats?
Yes,
let's do that. Okay. So it's absolutely brilliant to be here this evening, everybody. The energy in this room is actually slightly overwhelming from where I'm sitting right now. But it's absolutely brilliant. And it's going to be absolutely fantastic for all of you to see what's coming next. The students you're about to meet have taken part in one of JABC's signature programs, the company program. So this is where you actually get the opportunity to start your own company. I actually remember many moons ago being a company program participant back in the UK, slaving away over handmade Christmas cards, but getting an enormously rewarding experience from it. Sadly, my company was not overly successful. And I am sadly not an entrepreneur today, but the stories you'll hear from the students we're about to see are much more positive than mine. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, it is always a thrill for me at this event to hear the early entrepreneurial experiences of some of these kids and, you know, the lessons that they learn through it all as well.
I totally agree. I mean, they are absolutely stunning, and they take it to a level that I couldn't even have aspired to way back when. Over the last several months, these students have worked with their mentors in the companies to really bring forward their business ideas, and today they're going to share those concepts with us.
Each of these students has held senior executive roles within their companies and were nominated by their mentors for showing outstanding leadership, business acumen, and personal growth. And just like the other students we heard from earlier, they've each received a $2,500 scholarship and this unique speaking opportunity here to be part of their recognition. So please join us in welcoming to the stage Shreyan, Vivian, Shirley, Cece, and Bella. Yay! So did I get the order right? You're Shreyan, you're right next to me. Okay, then we got Vivian, Shirley, Cece, and Bella. Thank you so much for being here, you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, team. Welcome, everyone. We're so thrilled to have you with us. I know that you guys are nervous, but you're going to do awesome. That's the plan. Let's start with you, Shreyan. When you started your JA company, what was the biggest surprise?
When I started my J company program, the biggest surprise to me is that I originally, I come from a business-oriented family, so they all started as interns, whereas I got the opportunity to start as a vice president. So I just found that really amusing, but jokes aside, I think the biggest surprise I had is that I thought it was going to be more of an individual journey, but rather what I found was it was more of a group collaborative effort, and we all got the opportunity to express ourselves and unite together to create something we really enjoyed.
That's brilliant, Shreyan, and congratulations on being a VP at such a young age. If you don't make it into the top 40 under 40, I'll be very impressed. How about you, Vivian? What was most surprised you about the JA program?
What was most surprising to me was the amount of things that go on behind the scenes in a business. When I was like 6 or 7 years old, I'd have like a lemonade stand, but like that business, all I'd have to care about was making lemonade and selling them for $2 each. But now that I'm president of a company at JABC, there are so many different things that are going on behind the scenes, from the sales to the finance to the marketing, and it's just inspiring to see how everyone as a team can get together and make this business happen.
Making lemons out of lemonade is a big part of entrepreneurship. You're already way ahead of everybody else.
How about you, Shirley? What was your experience and most surprising element of that?
So I first joined company program when I was in grade 9, and now I'm in grade 12. And then in grade 10, I brought Jay to my school. But I think in grade 9, when I first did it, it was still the transition from like COVID to in-person, so mine was online. And I remember my mentor, Max, saying to us to brainstorm a few ideas of a business that we want to develop and to solve a problem. And on top of that, the problem has to target one of the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. And that came as a surprise to me because JABC is not only developing us to be entrepreneurs, but also change makers. Yeah.
True. Cece, what about you? What was the biggest surprise for you going through the program?
I was most surprised about how real everything was in the J Company program. When I first walked into the program, I was expecting to learn something along the lines of business and theory, because generally as high school students, that's what we're exposed to most. But when we were told to actually build a program out of a company out of scratch, that was what really surprised me and my team as well. So I was surprised to be pushed outside of my comfort zone, and that is truly where I learned best.
Going off script, we learned earlier how that is. That's the way it's supposed to be, and very likely the way it will be in your professional careers. Bella, what about you? What surprised you in the program?
For me, it was definitely all the detail and the effort going on in the business as a company as a whole. It was so interesting to see all the individual departments with their own VPs managing everything, such as production, marketing, and finance. And it was just so amazing to see everything come together into such a well-oiled machine. And I think that the detail is really what surprised me.
You're off to a great start. In business, it's not always a well-oiled machine, and if you can figure out how to solve those problems along the way, you're going to be way further ahead. Curious about the biggest lesson you learned, Shreyan, beyond the the surprise. What was the biggest lesson that you think that you'll take away from it?
The biggest lesson I think I would take away from my journey is that perseverance is key. We faced multiple challenges week to week on the week-to-week basis, and I feel as if none of these would have been possible without our mentors, and we wouldn't be able to overcome these challenges without persevering through them. So I feel perseverance and just critical decision making, as well as just prioritizing deadlines, etc. That's one of the biggest things I got from this entrepreneurial program, and that's what I'd like to take forward in the future.
Awesome.
I think there's a lot of people in this room would really resonate with that. So Vivian, what about you? What was your greatest lesson in this process?
What I learned that business is a lot about adaptability and adapting to different situations, because you can never predict what is going to happen next. For example, this one time we were selling at the SkyTrain station in Richmond, and it was outdoors, and it was like maybe mid-February, and all of a sudden it started snowing, which was very unexpected. This was the first snowfall of the whole season, and I had to adapt to this weather change, which was like completely unpredictable, and I had to like protect my product, which was like greeting cards, which could get potentially damaged by the weather. And so we like stored them in like Ziploc bags, and yeah, it's just like about adapting to changes which are really unexpected.
If you need help with a greeting card company, Abby obviously has had some experience there too, but oh yeah, man.
I really feel like that's a poor choice. How about you, Shirley? What learnings will you be taking forward with you?
I think the biggest lesson that I've learned through JABC is the importance of ethics. So when I did my company called Scrunchio Enterprise, where we produced towel wristbands that prevents water from dripping down your face when you're washing your face, it was very successful. We sold out all 100 products, and we still have some time left, so we thought might as well just order another 100 batch. But when it arrived, the quality declined by a very large margin. So we had to hold a meeting, and we were discussing on what to do. Some of the members suggested that we just go forth and sell these products, but reduce the price. But a lot of us are reminded of the lessons that Jaya has taught us about responsibility and the importance of making ethical choices in front of financial dilemmas. So in the end, we chose to return the towels, and it was a very proud choice that we've made, and I think something that I'll definitely carry forth when I work.
Yeah, that was great. And did I hear correctly, you invented a thing to wear around your wrist to prevent wet elbows after you wash your face? I think that's a great idea. I think, I need that. We'll talk later. Cece, what was your most important lesson?
Well, I learned a lot about working with different people because we're working in teams. And I've learned how everyone brings something different to the table, different strengths, different ways of communicating, different ways of solving problems. And I felt very grateful meeting a variety of different people. But something else I really wanted to mention was that I learned a lot about spreadsheets and Excel. It was a horrible experience at first. I'm not going to lie. But I was very grateful that my mentors were there to help and guide me through it, which I've learned a skill that I'll never forget.
Awesome. Yes, you have a lot of sympathy on the spreadsheets point of view here from a lot of people in this room. Bella, how about you? What did you learn, and most important lesson?
I think my biggest takeaway from the J Company program is definitely the power of goal setting, because when I first started off as president of the company, I was kind of lost. So one of my mentors, Max, gave me the advice to set a goal not only for myself, but also for my company as a whole. So I set a main goal, like a big goal for my whole entire company, and then I set some small goals every single week in order to achieve that main goal. And I found out that goal setting is truly what advanced our business to the next level and made it profitable and successful in the end.
Fantastic. What a brilliant outcome. And I have to say, goal setting is enormously important, whether it be in professional or personal life. So, you've gone through this experience. You've all learned a lot. What comes next? What do you see in the future? Shreyan, tell us where you're going to go.
That's an excellent question, Abby, and I'm still working on that myself, but I think I can take a guess. In about 6 years, hopefully, I will have completed my educational journey and moving into something of passion, such as engineering, and I hope to integrate some of my business aspects and skills into it as well. So I think I can start a startup and just really use my skills that way.
No doubt.
I have to say, it's a bit of an unfair question because certainly I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. Vivian, how about you? Any thoughts on where you're going to go?
As a senior in high school, next year I'll be attending Waterloo University for computer engineering or computer science. I'm still determining. And I hope in the future I'll be able to start a tech startup related to cybersecurity or quantum computing because those are like my biggest passions. So yeah.
Amazing. You should start collecting a few business cards. There might be a few opportunities out there. How about you, Shirley?
I'm also in grade 12, and in September I'll be attending solder, so that's pretty exciting. Yeah. I think they're here today, right? Solder? They're here today. Yeah. And I think in year 3 and 4, I would like to specialize in, finance and entrepreneurship. And after I graduate, if the economy recovers, I hope to get a job. I'm happy to give you guys my resume if you want.
That's what this event is all about: networking and opening up those opportunities. How about you, Cece? Where do you hope to be? Do you have a 5-year outlook? Do you have a 10-year outlook? How far in the future have you planned?
Well, currently as a high school student, I'm not very sure what I want to do in the future. But academically, I'm into various different aspects like economics, finance, statistics, physics, and I also have a creative side as a dedicated ballet dancer. So to answer your question, I'm not very sure what I'll be doing, but I hope I'm doing something I am enjoying, I'm curious in, and something I can grow in.
It is perfectly okay to leave your options open, especially as a high school student. That's great work. Thank you. And Bella, how about you?
In 10 years or beyond, I see myself potentially as a lawyer because I want to go into law, but since I want to go into business first, I can combine the two and become a corporate lawyer. Another path I want to take is potentially become a leader of an organization or of my own company. I would love that. And I discovered my passion for leadership actually from the company program as being a president. And honestly, after seeing all the incredible CEOs tonight on the presentation slideshow, that is kind of where I want to be in the next 10 years, and that's what I'm going to hope for.
I think we can only wish you the best of luck. I'm sure with enough determination, you will absolutely get there. Thank you all so much. Shreyan, Vivian, Shirley, Cece, and Bella, you've done an absolutely sterling job this evening.
So pleased to share the stage with you guys. Good luck in your careers. Congratulations again. Big round of applause to all the kids.